Think of the most busted plant and plant through the zombies too. Think very hard. Some of you might think Doom Shroom or Nightcap or Mega Gallipy, but I think the most busted is Teleportato Mine. Introduced in the 9.4.1 update, she'll immediately arm herself upon planting, teleporting the 3 closest zombies on the lawn on top of her, exploding immediately once she does. Her explosion covers a 3x3 area, the same as Primal Potato Mine, with a 20-second recharge as opposed to Primal's 25 seconds. She does cost the most out of the 3 potato mines, costing 75 sun, but clearly she's pretty overpowered. So the question today is, could we use this busted plant to beat the entirety of Plants vs Zombies 2 adventure mode? I don't consider this a challenge. I think it won't be. I am so confident that I'll be able to beat the game purely using this plant. I can't wait to show you how unbalanced it really is. Here are the rules. The only plants I'll be able to use are Teleportato Mine, obviously, Imitated for Teleportato Mine, and Walnut depending on the situation. Almost 80% of the first worlds I won't be using walnuts at all really, only for last stands and certain other levels. Levels with given plants will be skipped, as well as other levels that permit Teleportato Mine. And lastly, power-ups and the Zen Garden for walnuts cannot be used. But if the level gives me plant food, I'm able to use it. With this out of the way, I think we're ready. Starting off with Ancient Egypt Day 1, it's pretty easy. Since Teleportato Mine's recharge is only 20 seconds for both him and his imitation, it was a calm level. Day 3 was honestly the same. Camo zombies could be considered a problem technically, but placing a Teleportato Mine in between the middle of 3 or 6 really takes care of them pretty easily. Day 7, surprisingly enough, showcases some issues. We're introduced to sandstorms, and when it comes to sandstorms, they scatter across the lawn. Teleportato Mine warps 3 closest zombies on top of her. Some of these scattered zombies obviously will be too far away to really handle, but with its imitator copy and the fact that the explosion does 3x3 area damage anyways, it was really no problem. Day 8 started with 2 potato mines, and there are no rules against plants that were already in the level. They killed both of the first explorer zombies with ease. For these levels, I'm typically not worried about final waves just as long as I have my lawnmowers. In my eyes, I'm protecting the mowers, not the house. Just as long as my lawnmowers are there by the end of the game, or at least 1 or 2 are, I won't have to worry. Not like I have to with how quick the Teleportato Mine recharges. Day 9 I decided to change it up a little and see if I could beat the level by placing Teleportato Mines as soon as I see any zombie, rather than just stalling and waiting for a zombie to reach the last 2 tiles. Funny enough, for this level at least, this did work. Then again, this is only day 9, so I don't know what I expected really. Day 10 I did the same thing and it worked. I'm kinda glad I decided to do this for these levels, as not only does it make levels way faster, it furthers on my thesis that Teleportato Mine could 100% beat the entire game. For now, I'm not proven wrong. Who knows? Day 12 hampers the zombies just a bit, but I have nothing to worry about. Its area damage does wonders to zombies that aren't teleported near to the Teleportato Mine anyway. Day 13 limits our lane by taking 2 because of Dave's mode. No fear though, I never use the last 2 lanes as there's no limit to where the Teleportato Mine can teleport its zombies. I forgot to specify this is level 1 Teleportato Mine by the way. I decided to challenge myself by using just 1 Teleportato Mine seed, no imitator. It literally made it easy for me as the entire level sent either no zombies or no more than 3 zombies. So I indeed was able to beat day 13 with using 1 Teleportato Mine seed packet and no imitator. Day 14 is a longer level, but there was no struggle really. Nothing new about it, not much to say there. Teleportato Mine cannot be eaten when it's teleporting zombies by the way, so I never really have that worry of it being destroyed by the expeditionist zombie or eaten. For some reason, sometimes if you place your Teleportato Mine early, it'll just self-destruct. Nice. Day 16 I noticed a possible problem. Without sunflowers, it's easier to lose sun. It's not a problem of mine at the moment, but you'll see what I mean later. Teleportato Mine is indeed the most expensive out of the 3 like I said, costing 75 sun. Day 17 has a 14 plant limitation, but thankfully I have around 2 plants in the land most of the time. It's only 1 wave, which is easy peasy. On to the next. Day 18 was the last stand. I was worried for a split second. Maybe this was somehow the end, but no, I ended with around 1,700 sun left with the fact that again, Teleportato Mine only costs 75 sun. For situations like these, it's not that expensive. And this level involved camo zombies huddled in groups, so it was also convenient. As we near the end of Ancient Egypt, it seems like day 19 is really no problem either. Not much to say about that. Day 20 was even easier because I have to protect endangered plants, and they're all sunflowers, so it's extra sun and I don't have to worry about sun loss. Day 21 and 22 were easy as well. At the end of day 22, it did take a bit due to the fact that I was running out of sun at first, but no long period of worry there. I finished it pretty quickly as well. Day 23 introduces Gargantuars, but it was just 1 and then the last wave anyway, so it wasn't too much of a problem. The Teleportato Mine charges quickly, so I can easily kill the Gargantuar without any worry. Day 24 is another last stand level. The sandstorms were pretty annoying, but I thankfully left off with 1400 sun. Its cheap costs in these last stands continue to come in clutch. One would say there's no way to prove you could beat Ancient Egypt Zomboss with Teleportato Mine, as its conveyor belt doesn't have Teleportato Mine obviously. But lucky for you viewers, I know program. Never mind, it was glitched. I clearly don't know how to program a PvZ level. I'll see if I can figure this out later because I don't know what's going on. So, ignoring that, you can indeed beat Ancient Egypt using only level 1 Teleportato Mines. I believe the only problems were really the sandstorms, and even then, Ancient Egypt is meant to be the least difficult world, so they were still fairly easy to beat. Pirate Seas is somehow no problem either, at least at first. I thought the planks would be pretty problematic since Potato Mine can't be placed on it, considering it's an underground plant, but for some reason, Teleportato Mine can be placed on the planks. I guess I forgot about this. On day 2, seagull zombies are no problem. They can't avoid the Teleportato Mine. They'd explode immediately just like the other zombies. Day 3, 4, and 5 were the usual. I had a feeling this is gonna be another easy world, although, like I said, I was surprisingly wrong later on. On day 6, I actually lost a lawnmower at the end of the final wave. The swashbuckler zombies, similar to the sandstorms, were getting too much. I don't know what the hell happened on day 7, but the Teleportato Mine for some reason decided to act stupid and not teleport a certain zombie in time. The barrel roller zombie just makes it a little harder. The second time wasn't exactly easy either. I did lose a lawnmower from a seagull zombie, but no problem. Sun lobsters obviously becoming a problematic factor. Day 9 was a breath of fresh air. Barrel roller zombies were not in this level thankfully, which was the biggest problem. Day 10 introduces imp cannons. This is the biggest problem in Pirate Seas, since the imp cannon, depending on the lane it's in, can't be teleported by the Teleportato Mine, and sometimes it can't be affected by the explosion either if it's too far away. But I could just keep stalling and eventually he'll give in and just shoot out a bunch of imps, dying by himself. Day 11 does overwhelm the lawn with imp cannons, but I didn't lose any lawnmowers thankfully. Day 13 is a produce at least 2000 sun level, meaning it's impossible without sunflowers. So we'll have to use sunflowers no matter what. It's physically impossible to beat the level without it. I still only use Teleportato Mine as an offense though, so it counts. We're introduced to the Pirate Captain zombie. The Teleportato Mine can't teleport and kill parrots, though not like it matters as parrots can't take Teleportato Mines away anyways. Day 14 is a last stand level. I lost. Stupid seagull zombies. I beat it at the second time, but I lost 2 lawnmowers. It really depends on your luck and what you're doing in this situation. Maybe Pirate Seas isn't as easy as I thought it would be. On day 15, there's a random 3-peater on the lane, which I guess it makes it way easier to take care of imps. Imps are the biggest problem right now. Day 16, I have to protect 2 different spring beams. I lost at the last minute the first time, which was really infuriating. The second time, very last second I won, which was very nerve-wracking. I really did not want to repeat that level again, so I'm glad I beat it. On day 17, you have to defeat 20 seconds in 30 seconds. This is pretty easy with the Teleportato Mine, but I lost by a stupid amp. Yeah, I know, obnoxious. I almost lost the second time, but throughout the game I try to prioritize the top lanes as much as possible to keep the lawnmowers, as that's where the imp cannons come from. The imp cannons are the biggest problem, like I mentioned. I hate it. Day 19 and 20 are 2 with produce at least this amount of sun level challenges. Pretty easy, at least compared to day 17 and day 14. Day 21 was another sun production challenge. You also had to kill 5 zombies in under 30 seconds, and the Teleportato Mine, of course, can kill as many zombies as it wants, just as long as they're around the 3x3 area. Very balanced plant as you can see, obviously. Definitely not sarcastic at all. Day 22 was my hardest level yet. It's a plan for your defense, and usually they're not too difficult, but this level only has imp cannons and pirate zombies. I unfortunately cannot beat day 22 of Pirate Seas with only Teleportato Mine and no other defense. But I'm not gonna give up just yet. I'm still confident that you could still beat PvZ2 with only Teleportato Mine as your offense plan. We're gonna have to put in some defense. 2 basic walnuts in the end of the lane, using the 2 plant foods we have at the bottom, just in case there's 1 walnut left in the lane where we really need to use it. I try to stall as much as possible, so there could be some lawnmowers left. I had no chance to beat it if all my lanes were empty, as the overwhelming amount of imps would be too much for my Teleportato Mines. Thankfully, by the end, we had 2 lawnmowers left, so I was able to concentrate on placing Teleportato Mines on the bottom 3 that hadn't had lawnmowers, giving us a successful win in what I consider the hardest level currently that I've played. Day 23 I lost because of the lack of sun. Super annoying. But the second time was way more efficient as I stopped just a little more in order to collect my sun. Seems like rushing to place Teleportato Mines isn't a good idea anymore. Taking time is what's key, installing as much as possible without losing any lawnmowers is what's sufficient. Day 24 was pretty hard. I had to protect spring beans, and they are, you guess it, beam cannons. They're kind of scary because once the spring bean falls asleep, you have to stop the imp cannon as much as possible before it shoots out its groups of imps and dies. I died once because I didn't even know an imp was eating a spring bean. Second time's the charm. With that, you can beat Pirates with just a Teleportato Mine. Sure, we've had to use defense, but hey, I've only strictly used Teleportato Mine to kill zombies. Walnuts can't hurt zombies at all, only stall. I have to say, Pirates is a little bit of a challenge compared to ancient Egypt. I didn't think I'd have to use walnuts so early, although I guess I got a little too cocky. The obvious biggest problem out of all the zombies in this world was the imp cannon. The overwhelming amount of imps it shoots out, and the fact that it shoots out imps faster than the Teleportato Mine's recharge time really puts him in the list as the hardest zombie right now. Next up, we have the Wild West. I think the Wild West will be a little difficult, and you will see why in just a little bit. There's nothing to say about day 1, but day 2 introduces the Prospector zombie. Honestly, he's really not a problem. He either dies really quickly from the Teleportato Mine, either by its explosion or being teleported as it freezes as soon as it's teleported, or he gets sent right back where the Teleportato Mine is if its bomb detonates, as the zombies farted from the lawn will be the ones that get teleported first. Oh, and you can place him on mine shafts too. Cool, right? Day 3 introduces the pianoist zombie, but I didn't even give him a chance to play his music. He got obliterated immediately. Day 5 was easy, but for some reason in the end, the last Prospector zombie killed himself in front of my Teleportato Mine and traumatized him completely. Poor guy. Day 6 is the last stand level. Oh boy. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. This isn't the last stand that I have to worry about. Day 6 was super easy. The piano zombie literally does me a favor because when zombies start dancing, they group together, which is great because I can take advantage of Teleportato Mine's explosion damage. There's nothing to talk about when it comes to day 7, pretty easy. Compared to day 10 though, this introduces a big problem, really big problem. The Chicken Wrangler zombie. This is what makes the Wild West a little difficult. Chickens are fast, faster than Teleportato Mine, making them almost harder than imp cannons. Because of this, we're gonna need walnuts. This was definitely one of the harder levels. The chickens are one of the most difficult zombies in the game without electric reed, and I only have walnut. It isn't until after day 18 where we unlock Tana. In order to take care of the chickens, either with 2 lanes of walnuts or 1, I keep the chickens chewing on the walnuts until they're all together. The Teleportato Mine will either just explode by itself, or take zombies and explode near the chickens. I practically lost all my lawnmowers in the end, but thankfully there were no chickens in the final wave. Day 11, you're only limited to 500 sun, meaning you could use around 7 Teleportato Mines. Surprisingly enough, you indeed could beat this level with that limit. You just have to wait for more zombies to revive, pretty much stalling for a while. Day 13 introduces a zombie bull. The Teleportato Mine cannot teleport the zombie bull, but it's handled pretty easily as the Teleportato Mine's explosion one-shots it. I did lose 1 lawnmower because of 1 bull though, because it was the only thing in the lawn, but I didn't have to worry too much. Lawnmowers are only essential in the Wild West when it comes to the chickens. Speaking of chickens, day 14 has a lot of them, starting in the first wave. I have to do the same strategy, and thankfully this level gives me a lot of plant food for the walnuts. But obviously there's still a chance I'll fail, and there were many chances. I died so many times. These chickens are the bane of my existence, all because I don't have the electric reed, but I'm stubborn about it. Here's the strategy I have. There are 2 mine shafts that I'll be using that will stay behind the walnuts rather than in front. I will wait until each chicken wrangler in the lawn touches the walnuts, as the chickens will automatically be released as soon as they touch the walnuts. Once that happens, I will place the Teleportato Mine where the chicken zombies are while they're chewing on the walnuts, exploding and immediately killing whatever chickens there are depending on if they're on top or if they're on bottom. Thus why I placed the Teleportato Mine on either of the 2 mine shafts mentioned. This sorta worked. I honestly won by pure luck between me and you, but the point is I got it. I was able to save 3 of my lawnmowers that were able to kill the last chickens. This was probably the hardest level so far. For now. It gets worse. Day 16 was a genuine breath of fresh air though. No chicken wranglers. Mostly basic zombies and having to protect the walnut. Nothing harder than that. Day 17 may seem like it'd be a problem with the fact that zombies can't trample flowers and you have the bull zombie that can throw them forward. The Teleportato Mine is pretty slow sometimes, but this bull zombie is even slower. So I was able to instantly kill the bull zombies before they could even throw its imps. Unfortunately, we have our first level we cannot beat. Day 18. Day 18 is impossible to beat with only Teleportato Mines, even with walnut defense. There's way too many chicken wranglers, but that's not the biggest problem either. It's one of those unnecessary last stand levels. There's a large limit in the sun. With how overwhelming the chicken wranglers are and the limit we have, it's just not possible. Day 21 was a walk in the park compared to day 14 and day 18. It's another level where you cannot let zombies trample flowers. With a limit of 1750 sun, this was more than enough. Day 24 is even worse than day 18, with the fact that there are endangered walnuts with an absurd amount of chickens in the game. Obviously, I couldn't beat the entire Wild West with only Teleportato Mines, but only because of the chicken wranglers, honestly. Every other zombie is incredibly easy to beat, and honestly, by simply placing 1 or 2 electric reeds in the lawn, I feel like you could still beat the entire Wild West with Teleportato Mines. Who knows? But we have failed Wild West. So, you know how I said I'd figure out how to edit Zom bosses? Well, I did, and now I can show you if you could really beat Ancient Egypt Zom boss and the other Zom bosses with Teleportato Mine. I beat Ancient Egypt Zom boss in exactly a minute. Teleportato Mine's explosion damage was way too intense for the poor Zom boss to handle. From this, it's a little obvious that the other 2 Zom bosses, specifically Pirates, could definitely be beaten by the Teleportato Mine. Wild West, on the other hand, I did die the first time because of, you guessed it, the chickens. What I had to do was pretty much rush. I had to place Teleportato Mines as fast as possible before Zombots could even have a chance to spawn in chicken wrangler zombies. Without any defense, it's an immediate loss when there are chicken wrangler zombies in the lawn. I was able to beat it fairly quickly once I locked in, confirming that you can indeed beat the Zom bosses using only Teleportato Mine. Next up, Frostbite Caves. I honestly thought it wouldn't be any easier. I know there's weasels in Frostbite Caves, and they're not any better than the chickens. But luckily, we have Taw Nut now, which will be very effective, trust me. Day 1, 3, and 4 were very easy. The code mechanic is really no problem for Teleportato Mine. No Teleportato Mine stays in the lawn enough to get frozen. Day 6 forces me to have most of my plants chosen for me, though it's not like I'll use them. There were a lot more zombies than usual in this level, but the Teleportato Mine handles large waves fantastically, so there was no struggle there. Day 7 was fine, but the ice tiles were pretty annoying, as sometimes zombies were able to move lanes before they were affected by the Teleportato Mine's explosion. Day 9 introduces the Dodo Rider zombie, but thankfully, the Teleportato Mine can teleport it no matter if it's flying or not. Just further proof its mechanic is crazy busted. Day 11 forces you with certain plants again, but like I said, I won't be using them. I made sure to keep Teleportato Mine on the last 2 lanes so the frozen zombies above wouldn't break free. The less zombies, the merrier in my opinion. This level wasn't exactly easy though. There were a lot of zombies, and the level was pretty long, more than the usual at least. Sun loss, as it has been for a bit, was what made this so difficult. I felt like the sun was falling so much slower now for some reason. Day 12 was the last stand level. These last stand levels are never necessarily too hard. I ended the level with quite a lot of sun. Typically when it comes to these levels, since I technically have a limitation, I stall and wait for at least 3 zombies to be on screen before I use a Teleportato Mine. Day 13 has a Gargantuar. This might be a problem. After realizing I was struggling with sun on day 11, I decided to stall more than usual in this level to collect as much sun as possible. It wasn't too much of an issue until the end though, when it was Gargantuar's turn to shine. I got nervous for a split second since once it threw its 3 imps, they were a little too close for comfort where the flowers were. Thankfully enough, the Teleportato Mine teleports the 3 zombies closer to the lawnmower, so it took care of these pretty easily. Day 15 has endangered pepper potes, but there's nothing to worry about. They're in far lanes and they're just extra damage to make the level easier for me. These levels do continue to have longer waves and bigger crowds of zombies, but this is Teleportato Mine's forte. Day 7 introduces the Troglodyte, a zombie that can push 3 frozen imps forward. Honestly, you can just wait until it reaches the lawn to kill it with a Teleportato Mine, making sure you don't explode the 3 imp blocks. I don't like wasting a Teleportato Mine on imps, so I refuse to explode these ice blocks. By the time the level ends, these imps automatically die if they don't escape their ice boxes. Day 19 picks my plants again. This world really likes picking my plants for some reason. Too bad I ain't using them. Easy peasy though. So far, this world has been pretty easy. Compared to how many times I lost in Wild West, there are a lot of troglodytes and ice imps on day 20, but it was another simple level. Day 22 is when things get different, as this is the first level with weasel hoarders. Thankfully, like I said in the beginning, we have the Taw Nut now, so we could use this as defense. The strategy is pretty much the same as before, but I died the first time. Just because the Taw Nut has more defense doesn't mean this is easy, especially since they can get frozen. The ice was really starting to be a problem. I died the second time because, you guessed it, the weasels. The third time I was so close and I messed up my Teleportato Mine. I was starting to get really annoyed. Finally, by the 4th time, I was able to beat the level with 3 lawnmowers left. I knew I was gonna get it at some point. I just had to get easy with the sun and make sure my tunnels didn't get frozen to let weasels pass through. I would say day 23 was my most stressful level yet, but somehow I won the first try. I think after day 22, I sort of knew how to take care of these weasels much more than I did before. Weasel hoarders do not release weasels when in proximity of defense plants anymore, so Teleportato Mine will have to be the one to quote awaken these weasels. I'll put a Teleportato Mine at the beginning of the lawn to explode these weasel holders. I have to make sure that any imitator Teleportato Mine is ready. Once the weasels are released and they start chewing on the tall nuts, I'll explode them with the Teleportato Mine immediately. I think what made this level easier is the fact that I had twin sunflowers they gave me in the beginning until they were eaten. But yeah, thank goodness I beat this level. Day 24, I had to produce at least 2,500 sun, so I had no choice but to use sunflowers. Honestly, in favor for me since there were weasels in this level. Not like it mattered though, plants get frozen very easily, giving weasels an easy chance to pass through. I always got incredibly unlucky since the tall nuts would literally freeze as soon as the weasels were chowing down on it. Eventually, with enough luck on my side, I was able to kill all the weasels. But there was a problem. Due to the flowers continuing to turn into ice and me paying attention to mostly the tall nuts, I hadn't produced enough sun. So I had to stall an imp with a tall nut and unfreeze my sunflowers and wait until I got all the sun I needed. It was a very funny situation. And thank goodness I beat this level as well. On day 26, there were frozen weasel holders. We didn't have to do everything to make sure I don't unfreeze them by accident. Thankfully, I didn't. These tall nuts are a miracle, honestly. Taking care of these weasels were perfect. So day 27 had no weasels, so there was no point in using defense. There were rotobogas that I had to protect, which was a blessing and a curse. The rotobogas were able to kill basic zombies, giving me time to collect sun, but they also broke frozen imp blocks. There were so many imps due to how many chocolate bites there was this time, so the amount of imps were pretty overwhelming, but it was more than okay. At the end, I did almost lose my rotobogas by the amount of imps there were, but Teleportato Mine saved me last minute. I had another heart attack when I had a brain fart and teleported a gargantuar close to one of my Teleportato Mines, but thankfully I killed it before I could kill one of my endangered rotobogas. Day 28 was my last level, and another level that was completely carried by my tall nuts. Not only did it have weasels, it had a gargantuar too. But apart from that, you could indeed beat Frostbite Caves using only Teleportato Mines. Unlucky Tana in Day 18 of Wild West was a savior. Makes me wonder if I could go back and see if I can beat Wild West using the Tana now. But there's really no point now. So the first time I tried to play the Frostbite Zomboss, my game crashed for some reason. Teleportato Mine's aura must be too much or something. The second time I was getting somewhere and my game crashed once more. I have no idea why this is the case. After 2 times, I kept crashing. Teleportato Mine is just too powerful. So that's really it for now. This was surprisingly better than I thought it would be. I mean, sure, I was confident, but this is way easier than I hoped. Ignoring the Wild West chickens, of course. The next spot will probably be the next 4 worlds. Lost City, Far Future, Dark Ages, and Neon Mixtape Tour. I'm honestly curious to see how that would go. I'm just hoping it goes well. That's about it, guys. See you guys in the next one, and please subscribe for more.